Monday morning quarterback Devin Gardner, brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA. The Ticket. Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, where it's fairways, not freeways. Book your vacation at grandtraverseresort.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Man's getting us started this morning.
Yeah.
I don't even know what your see that
like
music's so good. I don't even know what your original music.
I don't even.
like.
It seems like it was always that. That
Right.
was lit.
Right. I don't even know what the regular music sounds like.
We need to make sure that's on every time because that gets me going.
I don't know if Ira's
Turn
ready.
my music high.
I don't know if he's ready for that. I don't know.
Oh no, Ira ready for that.
I don't know if Ira
ready for that. I'm telling you.
Sorry, people on stream, you didn't get a chance to get that. But that's the stuff I put in for the M song, man. That's all
that's crazy.
You need to put together a nice mix.
That goes so right.
Right, give him a menu and make sure you throw some J. Cole in there too.
Yeah, I got J. Cole ready to go.
Come on. I mean, I'm talking about for Ira.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, yeah,
what was the song before?
I have no idea, right?
Oh my God,
I have no idea.
Gotta bring some fire, man.
I got a couple projects for you, Miz, because as we start out Monday Morning Quarterback, brought to you by our friends at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, which, by the way, we're going to be up at GTR next week for the Minnesota game. So for those of you
I might be able to make it
who are in the area or
I might be able to make it.
Listen, I'm not making it. See, you don't make any
I'm
promises.
just saying, I don't think I got a game next week. This not this week coming up. The next week, I don't think I got a game. I might be able to.
We'll talk to the folks at GTR. But we don't know that that's on the menu. We don't know that DG's on. We're gonna try to see.
We'll try to get a little DG on the menu.
Right.
Wait.
Let's wait. Hold on. Let's qualify that because you might have some people. Oh, we can get DG on the menu.
Oh no! Y'all don't get DG on the menu quite. You know what? Oh, just say hell. I don't know if we just whatever.
All right. I got a project that I need our listeners to work on because you guys are so great. So, Miz,
the math project they did was outstanding.
Didn't you? You gave them a math problem, man. You had people
down on that thing.
They were putting graphics together the whole night. So listen, Ryan Day is a very, very sensitive man. He's a very sensitive man, right? Jeez. We saw how sensitive. Now there's a video. He did a video to this song. Ralph Transrock from New Edition. So there's some Michigan fan out there. I know you can do this.
Swanky, we look at you.
Find that video.
Swanky is nice.
And I need you to take Ryan Day's head. Take Ryan Day's head and put it on Ralph Transrock's body. I need you to do that. Because last week, remember I was talking about putting Pookie around the body. Do you know somebody went and found a picture of the Jim Knowles and put Pookie's head on Jim Knowles, put Jim Knowles' head on Pookie's body? You know somebody did that. So I need the Michigan fan out there go find the Ralph Transrock sensitivity video and put Ryan Day's head on Ralph Transrock. I know you can do it. Do that for me, please. All right, I need it. I need that to put together some material for later in the season.
I don't want to be involved with this.
Oh man, you involved. You see how he reacted after that game? We're already involved, Devin.
It's a little odd.
We already involved, man.
It's a little odd, but just leave me out of it. Jeez.
All right, Monday Morning Quarterback brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. We always have a great time breaking down Michigan football. DG, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. Every time I look up and I see how, you call in a game. First of all, take us back to the game you called last week, and then what game you'll call this coming week.
I called at noon. I called Kansas State at night. I called Kansas State versus UCF, and in noon I called TCU versus SMU.
Okay,
two pretty good games. It was good. UCF was right in it, and then they made one big mistake, and then the snowball started to roll. When you playing the champs, it's kind of tough there. So
okay, all right, folks. Monday Morning Quarterback Devin Gardner is brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Autumn in Michigan is a great time to explore northern Michigan. Vibrant colors, crisp fall breezes. You won't believe it if you haven't seen it. Get up Go to grandtraversresort.com. And remember, I said we'll be there next week. We start off every single Monday morning quarterback with your driving force update, your broad brush, your appraisal of the game as you are able to go back and look. So let's talk about your appraisal of the game first. Brought to you by Mark Orr at Lake Michigan Credit Union. Mark Orr, mortgage loan officer at Lake Michigan Credit Union, specializes in assisting healthcare and educational professionals. You can contact Mark at markorr@lmcu.org to get pre-qualified. So appraise the game for me. 31-7, Michigan takes down Rutgers.
They are. I'm sorry. They are who we thought they were.
I was going to say, you're okay there?
They are who we thought they were. JJ was back into form. Everybody they did exactly what we thought they would do. For some reason, like on the internet, people were saying that like Rutgers could beat Michigan. Like I was just like, wait, what? How is this wild? I'm like, wait, what? Is this like a thing? Like I ain't seen Rutgers this year, so I'm just like, well, maybe, because Shiano's a really good coach and all these things. And Wimsett was playing, pretty good, he's a runner and a thrower. So maybe I just thought they exploded in some way and whatever. But it's just like, it was super weird. But obviously that was not the case. They got demolished. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what you're supposed to do when you're top 3 team in the country and you play a team that just isn't as talented, I guess, right? You just they just don't have enough, right? And they had the big play to start the game, and I'm sure everybody was just losing it. Obviously I had a game, but I could imagine, because we have the highlights on commercial or whatever when I'm calling my game. I'm sure people were going crazy, like, and I'm just like, oh man, they're losing. So maybe I don't know, maybe somebody has because I'm not watching the game, so I don't know what's going on. And then, shortly thereafter, it starts to, ramp up. So I was just excited to see them respond, even though, it seems like, did they lose the game last week? No, they blew the team out the week before, too. But to see JJ get a chance to respond and play well and get to form, get back to form in the first Big Ten matchup, right? Because, he didn't play very good against Bowling Green, obviously, right? And obviously, we know Bowling Green's not a very good team. And I was very clear that it was an anomaly and all these different things. And everybody's like, oh, my God, it's a biological attack. We're done. Oh, my goodness, I can't take it anymore. And then he plays a Big Ten team that Rutgers will probably beat Bowling Green by, 35 probably? They would destroy Bowling Green, I would think. And he did what he wanted, right? He played at will. He not 100% healthy, right? He still got a chance to use his legs some. I was pretty impressed with it.
So they say Pat McAfee picked Rutgers to upset Michigan on
Yeah,
on,
I knew
on
I
TV.
wasn't tripping. Somebody, and it wasn't just him. Like he ain't just make that up on his own, right? He got that from somewhere, right? And people were saying that Rutgers could get Michigan, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Come on, man. Like I felt like Russell Westbrook. Man, what are y'all talking about, bro? I'm out, dog.
And then they score that touchdown. They score that touchdown out the gate.
Confirms.
And they're like, they started thinking they were
confirmation bias, right? Hey, man, we wanted them to lose. We wanted this to be a game. So, yeah, you better get your tweets out now because it's about to change.
Yeah, Gavin Wimsatt is better.
I like Gavin Wimsatt.
Like he only had 1 interception in this game, 1 pick six in this game. He had 3 interceptions last year.
But you got to think about this too for Gavin. He's a guy who left high school and didn't play his senior year. So he got a year of football where he didn't get a chance to play football. Right, he went to college early and he played a little bit, right? But you essentially didn't get a whole season to play football. Now, practice all that. I'm not trying to hear that. You got to get game action, right? So similar to Quinn Ewers, how he left early to go to Ohio State, and it's just like you need another year. Like I know kids are playing a lot of football these days, but you need more football. So even though he is, they got him as a sophomore, right? He whatever year he is, he's a year younger, right? And so. It's good to see him to continue to develop, and he's going to be all right there at Rutgers, I think.
Yeah, like he takes care of the football way better than he did last year, and that's what it's all about.
But, last year he was young. He's a freshman. Like, guys just going to turn the ball over. It is what it is. Like, the game's moving fast, and when you think about it, it's you at Rutgers, right? So you don't got the best team either, right? When you play at Michigan, you cannot turn the ball over because you got such a good team around you. You play at Ohio State, young guy, you cannot turn the ball over. Got so many good players around you. Even at Penn State, a lot of good players around you. at Rutgers, you got good players, but you ain't got that many, man. You got a few here or there, and for you as a dynamic guy that's moving and throwing, you want to try to make plays for him. You know what I mean? So I think that I don't know if he's a turnover guy or not, but I just don't think we can judge him as a freshman turning it over, right? And he is getting better this year.
So listen, you laid out that this was a step up in opponent from the non-conference, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
But they haven't played in Ohio State. They played like Notre Dame, right?
Yeah,
they haven't played one of these top level opponents. And now you look at it, DG, and they probably won't until Rutgers may well be the best team they see in the first 9 games. Is that something to be concerned about, that they won't see probably a top tier opponent until they go to Happy Valley?
I really feels like the Michigan scheduling department is just smarter than everybody else. Right?
If they could control that, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
They could control the non-conference.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like until the 12-team playoff comes, it makes really no true sense to play those really tough opponents early in the season, especially when you know you're like that, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you're a team, you need to know who you are, right? You should probably get the season going with teams that can really test you, but Michigan is the one team in the country that knows exactly who they are, right? They know what they have in their locker room. They know their running backs. They know their wide receivers, what they're going to get from them. They're actually getting even more from Roman Wilson than I'm sure inside the locker room, people knew that he could be a guy that is this productive. But outside, nobody really thought much of Roman Wilson. I mean, obviously I did, how I thought of him, but a lot of people didn't think of him around the country. And so they knew who they had in their receiving core. On defense, right? It's rinse and repeat, right? It's you obviously don't have the same guys from last year, but the defense is going to perform. And the offensive line, I guess, could be the biggest question mark, just not because of talent, but because of just cohesiveness, right? Got to work together, get on the same page, find the perfect lineup, and all those different things. So I think that the schedule is just fine because they're not trying to figure out who they are, right? Mm-hmm. They know who they are. They're the defending Big Ten champion 2 times in a row, right? And most of the people, a lot of the key pieces from that first championship still there, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So I think that I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, obviously, you would love to see your team play like better opponents and dominate them as well. But, you got to play who you can play. And now that we're in conference, I mean, you just got the luck of the draw, right? You got luck of the draw. Right. You don't have to play a bunch of real good teams. And not to mention, you still got to play Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, Michigan State, Michigan State, You
remember what we said? So we were on Dropping Dimes.
What did I say? Michigan State.
Right. Yeah. But we also on Dropping Dimes. I asked you and Dan, we do the Steady Dropping Dimes show every Wednesday, 3 to 4 o'clock. Lock that in for those of you on the stream. We'll bring it here to the station as well down the line. But I said, hey, if you were on that team and you hadn't used your red shirt and you could enter the portal as soon as they fire the coach, what would you do? And both of you guys, being the true team guys you are, hey, look, play out the season, wait to see what other guys are going to do. You see how many guys were on the injured list? They had a bunch of
that hammy was straight, but my pinky toe, I had a corn on it, and I don't think I can play this week. My pinky toe is killing me. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. So my point in bringing that up is I'm with you. You always are going to get the best of what Michigan State can offer, but the best of what they can offer this year, DG, man, it just this slate of games, whether it's mainly I'm talking about Minnesota and Michigan State. I didn't think either would be great, and I certainly didn't think Michigan State would be great, but I thought they would be better than they are. That's kind of skewing what I thought the prep was going to be like heading into the Penn State game.
I've talked to you about it, about how, remember when D'Antonio said the pride comes before the fall, and it kind of like happened the way, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like we were Michigan super proud, and then they went on this run of like, oh my goodness, but then they got super prideful, and now look at what's happening. This is devastating. What's happening to the program? You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to make a huge splash to make sure they get recruits and whatever. And obviously they're gonna get some young guys, some guys that can't play in Michigan inside the state, which usually happens anyway. But guys that can't play in Michigan, that is gonna be a couple diamonds in the rough, right? Because some talented players that you're gonna try to build a relationship with high schools to make sure you keep those tight relationships to at some point if you were to ever come back or whatever. And so you're going to get some guys that not many people want, but are going to turn out to be really good players for you at some point. But it's tough, man. It's going to be a rough couple of years. They're going to have to make a big splash and the coach and all these different things. It is not a place you want to be in.
Right.
And I think that Mark D'Antonio not only foresaw what happened to Michigan as far as, them being able to dominate, they should have like rewatched that quote and like been a little bit more cool about the success they were able to have.
I'm not saying that he wasn't good. Right place, right time. I mean, you got Michigan.
Yeah.
In a transition.
100%.
I mean, come on, man. Stop it.
I mean, but he did his job.
But he did his job.
He
capitalized on it. But take me into
they got out of there. He said, Harbaugh's coming. I'm out of there.
You've been in the locker room.
Yeah.
You've been in the arena, DG. And so I as best you can, take me into how, knowing that they're good, they're a championship team. They've won 2 Big Ten championships, so they know what preparation is like. But we saw Bowling Green, for instance, where, it wasn't the sharpest team.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that level of sharpness when it's not going to be the opponent that brings it out of you, probably?
Of course. Well, you gotta be in a dogfight with Bowling Green for 3 quarters, right? And it's like, let's make sure we don't let this happen again, right? So they've already experienced it. So it's not going to come against a Big Ten opponent where it's like, man, we kind of overlooked him. It's like, no, because the coaching staff going to always be at a point back, especially for JJ. Like, no, you can't take it easy at all, even though we know he's not. But no, you can't take it easy, and you can almost use it as an example. And the rest of the team is like, yeah, man, we did. That was ugly. And if we do that against a team with much better athletes now, we don't know if we're going to be able to come back from that. So let's check them right at the door as soon as we play against the team, and then let our young guys play and all those different things. But no real competition coming up here in the near future.
So one more appraisal before we get to our first break. So we'll talk about JJ specifically on the other side in the driving force update. But appraise for me the passing game. I'm asking you this question, not because it's a question of mine, but it's mostly a question from the fans. Like, you can see the different things they're trying to add on a week-to-week basis in the run game. What do you think of the passing game? Do you see the need to work any aspect of it more? Are there any wrinkles that you think they should add or that they're going to add in the coming weeks? What do you think of Michigan's passing game as they head now deeper into conference play?
I think they have a very balanced passing game. I think they have a few shots every game that they have, whether they throw them or not. They have shots called in the game, right? You get down intermediate. JJ's been pinpoint accurate, intermediate, right? The kind of deep overs. So it says deep over, but it's not that deep, right? In between 20 and 16 or 20 and 12, right? 20 and 12 yards. They got all those plays in there, right? You got the overs, you got the crossers, you got deep curls. We saw a glance thrown off of no hitch. So the passing game has all the different elements that you want. Shots, playing on time, right? Playing on time where if a guy blitzes, you can get the ball out before he even gets there. I like the way this developed, and the most important thing, I like that JJ knows the plan and knows what he wants to do. They've continued with those elementary concepts with the graduate level execution, and the thing is, that's what football is. Anytime, if you understand football, right? So smash. Let's talk smash for 1 second. That's a corner in the inside from the inside receiver, and a hitch route, which is like 5 yards down the field, just turn around and look, right? In the embryonic stages, that is what smash is, right? And you got little kids running, 8-year-olds, everybody. Well, there's different ways you can do that. You can run a circus on the outside, right? And a circus on the outside means the outside receiver stems in, goes vertical, and then runs out, right? Well, he's getting in that same position he would be in if he was just in a slot running a corner, right? And then you get the inside guy who goes option route and runs to the flat. When they get to their spots, what is that? That's smash, right? Just a different way of getting to it. Or you can go circus from the outside, bring a guy from across the field to get in the flat. What is it? It's the same exact read. You're high-lowing guys, right? And so I love that they're finding different ways to do that. I see the Chiefs do it all the time, and everybody's wondering, why is Patrick Mahomes able to play so loose and whatever? Because it's elementary stuff that he's looking at. You guys just get confused because they're different formations, guys running all over the place. But the thing is, the concepts, the triangle concepts, the high-low concepts, those all are things that are in every single pass pattern, but it can just be you can get to it different ways. So I'm super impressed with the variety of motion and guys lining up in different places and getting to the same spots, and it's keeping it simple for the quarterback, and he's able to play fast and make plays.
All right. That is Devin's appraisal of the game, brought to you by Mark Orr at Lake Michigan Credit Union. Mark Orr, mortgage loan officer at Lake Michigan Credit Union, specializes in assisting healthcare and educational professionals. You can contact Mark at Mark Orr, that's Mark Orr with 2 R's, at lmcu.org to get pre-qualified. We got to get to a break. More DG on the other side here on Monday Morning Quarterback on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, The Ticket.
Susan McKenzie, this is our favorite hour as well. Love you. Love you, Susan.
This is what DG is talking about.
Love you, Susan. It's our favorite hour. This is Sam's favorite hour.
Hey,
quietly.
so listen.
Quietly, he don't want to say it because he got other hours or other people.
Man,
it's his favorite hour.
I think it's people. I've gotten other people say, "Hey, can DG let me off the block list?" So you got a method for getting off your block list, right?
Yeah, I got Cash App, Venmo. Because you can't just be talking crazy to me, and then you know what I mean. You can't, people think, oh, he's up there, whatever. He don't got time. Oh no, I got time.
Do you? So tell me this: do you think Lou Holtz talked crazy to Ryan Day? Did you hear it?
No, he was saying the things that everybody thinks. I don't know why listen. He's fighting for his job. Okay, he's trying to make sure. I love Ohio. I love this team. I love my players. And it's just like it was a little over the top. Lou Holtz is like 800 years old. Like, what are you doing? Why are you attacking Lou Holtz like that? Lou Holtz literally is just saying what he's seen. When you have played Michigan, you've been, the physicality just hasn't been there. The backup running back for Michigan rushed for all these yards. That's what he's seeing. He got a lot of teams to think about or whatever. Well, one hand, it's just like, you shouldn't take offense to that. It's a challenge of like, yeah, man, let's do it. And the thing is, Lou Holtz is a Notre Dame guy. What do you expect him to say? And guess what? Notre Dame was pretty physical. And so he was thinking, Michigan did it, so why can't we do it? You know what I mean? And he gonna attack this old man like this. Lou Holtz is cool. I like Lou Holtz. He's fun.
It was very selective, was it not? That he
said his name.
A dude who's not coaching.
Yeah.
Who was at like a pep rally show.
It seemed like thing. It was at who was at.
Of course it was. Of course it was. He was projected like a bug. This was all about
Lou Holtz he was in the crossfire. Lou Holtz is taking strays. Oh no.
You hear him talk. And you thought Lou Holtz said all kind of crazy. He's like, he was talking
group, I was in a lot of group chats like, hey, what did Lou Holtz say? I was like, why are y'all saying it? Because I didn't see the interview, obviously. I didn't, because I got a game. So it's right at or way after. And I'm like, wait, I want to go see what Lou Holtz said. But you really don't need to go see what Lou Holtz said because he said, he's like, yeah, he said we're soft and all that. But he
didn't even say that.
But he was just analyzing the game. He was just saying, like, listen, man.
He said other teams, he said Michigan, Georgia, Clemson, and Bama won because they were more physical. That is literally all he said.
It's a fact.
And this dude went on out there like
Clemson. I don't know so much. I think that they just had a dynamic quarterback on the other side, and it's kind of back and forth. But as far as those other teams, yeah, it's exactly what happened.
He made it sound like he said we were part of a football team. That's not what he said. He didn't say that.
What Ryan Day has to understand, and I've raved about his offensive acumen, if you will. He just has to understand, like, dude. You are the coach at Ohio State. It's like you don't understand that you lost to Michigan twice. You know what I mean? And so you beat them once, but ain't nobody gonna count that because you had just got the job. The team was already pretty set. You know what I mean? And it's just like, come on, you got to take this and just prove it. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you, Thanksgiving's coming. You have an opportunity. You don't got to be. But the thing is, like, you doing all this talking about it, and now Michigan guys looking like, oh, we got them like they had us. Like, he can't stop thinking about us because clearly you ain't that mad at Lou Holtz.
They were talking all this same talk about how much tougher they were last year.
They were saying that. That's the thing. It's just like, what the hell? Just let it ride. Just do your thing and whatever. Because, and the thing is, you're breaking in a new quarterback. And I think that this is where Ryan Day, he has to think of, like, you got to take yourself out of it and be empathetic about what you have. He don't know about Ohio State versus Michigan. This new kid, and we don't know if he like that yet. So you're gonna put a lot of pressure on him to beat Michigan. And I'm just telling you, it's at Michigan. Got the new, it's a lot of pageantry. You got the big jumbo boards. As much as people say, "Oh, that don't matter." Oh, yes, it do. It come in. Oh my goodness, this is nice. And then Ohio State. They've been getting loud lately. Hey, we ain't got the golf crowd club anymore. Crowd, we don't got the golf club no more. They're getting loud, especially in games like that. And so it just feels like you're doing all that, you're yelling and acting crazy, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your quarterback. I think that's what I think.
We shall see. How much longer in this break, Miz?
Coming back here in a moment, guys.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck. He definitely, if he's feeling like that about what Lou Holtz said, he's in his feelings about born on third base, think you hit a triple.
Ooh.
Like, but nothing to say about it. Has to say anything about it.
You can't now. Can't.
There we go. Give me some cold. That's what I'm talking about.
Sorry, people on stream. I can't put it on stream.
Okay. Okay.
Monday morning quarterback Devin Gardner, brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA. The Ticket. Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, where it's fairways, not freeways. Book your vacation at grandtraverseresort.com.
We are back. Man, Miz, listen, man, you got to be our DJ for Monday morning quarterback. We got to figure that out. Or at least give Ira, like I said, give him a playlist.
You got
put together a playlist for Ira.
I always do this like with guests that when Jamie are on, because I'll ask some of the guys that are come on, regular guests, like, hey, what you want your bumper music?
Miz know what I like.
I'll make it work.
Miz know exactly what I like.
Exactly. So
I make it very clear the music I like.
Okay. Right. We drove back from GTR
last year. Yeah, and Devin didn't even smoke you out. Hey, that's up.
Why you gotta bring up old stuff?
Beef jerky.
Why you gotta bring up old stuff, Sam? I've already apologized for Miz. I was letting Miz have it, boy. Oh my goodness, I was letting Miz have it. I felt terrible. I said, man, I'm killing Miz. I'm killing myself, so I know I'm killing Miz.
I'm helping you out, man. I'm trying to get an endorsement for you.
Oh,
you
man.
know, for like Gas X or something. You know what I mean?
That's all right, because I'm feeling it today. So when we start breaking down this film, I'm gonna get you, sucker. Bring up old stuff.
You raggedy.
All right, folks. Listen, we are back here on the Monday morning quarterback, brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. It is time to get ready for Devin's Driving Force Update. Driving Force Update brought to you by Golden Limousine International, with Golden at the wheel and Devin on the mic. Whether on the field or riding in a Golden limo vehicle, it is always about the quality of the drive. It is certainly
Quanti's Shumber talking about bubble gut DJ. Hey, mind your business, Quanti's. You mind your business, Quanti's, and get out of here.
Sheldon said, I bet that was a hell of a ride, man.
It was fine. Trust me, it wasn't like the dead of winter where I had to roll the window down and freeze my butt off on the way back. No, it was straight. It's boys being boys. That's all.
It was boys being boys. It's all about a little locker room. You know what I mean?
Hey, Miz took one for the
just
team.
A small confined.
Just like you took one. You just watch where you light candle level when you get it. That's all.
All right.
I love you, DG.
DG.
This is
DG,
ridiculous.
Driving Force Update. This is the part of the show brought to you by Golden Limo, where you assess JJ specifically. So obviously below subpar performance against Bowling Green, wanted to get back on track against Rutgers. Do you feel like he accomplished that?
100%. And I wasn't ever in fear. And the thing is, when we break, that's why you come here. That's why you come here. That's why you watch the breakdown, because it's like, oh, those interceptions were bad. Not as bad as we thought, right? Those are very fixable things. And that snowball is not going to continue to roll into the next week. And I think Coach Sharon Moore did a very good job as well, putting them in take stuff off the screen. Putting them in position to make plays. And obviously, I loved how quick he was in his decision-making. The decision to run, the decision to get the ball out, the decision to check the ball down, all those different things were intact. And I was very impressed with the way he responded from like that's a game as bad as anything that, he's seen. We've seen from JJ, the worst, right? I would say it's the worst game that he's ever played. And for him to be able to respond so quickly against a better opponent and whatever, I think that was super impressive. Obviously, the play action was working. His arm was live again, and it was good.
He was really good between the hashes in this game. You think about some of the balls he threw the crosser, the Roman.
Yeah.
He had the seam, the four verts that he hit Colston on.
Oh yeah, that was
Colston
nice.
climbed the ladder for
That
it.
was nice.
That was a nice one.
He's a nice player, man. And I think we're gonna start using him a lot more and everything. And we don't need to as much, but he is a nice player, big target to throw to. I mean, he's nice. He's really good.
What about the back shoulder to Semaj?
I was really, because that's tough. Semaj is, I knew he wasn't that big of a dude, but when you see him on the field in college now with that big number and all that, he is small. And that's a hard, but people don't know, in high school, he's a dynamic dude, man. I remember I had his first game of his senior year because I always tried to do a high school game before I did, start my college season last year, but we didn't do it this year or whatever. But he made so many, and obviously he's against high school dudes, but so many catches. I'm just like, oh, this is a tough catch maker. He is a tough catch maker. He's going to make some spectacular catches. And I'm just telling you, he can beat Jeremy Gallon. Remember, Jeremy Gallon was going to get everything. Even though Jeremy Gallon was 5'4.5", Jeremy Gallon was going to get everything.
Yeah.
I remember Notre Dame, but this is before I even was the quarterback. Remember Notre Dame where he jumping, catching fades, jump ball, back shoulder, all that against their 6'1", 6'2" DB. That DB had such a rough day against Jeremy Gallon. He was supposed to be a top pick, and we ain't never heard nothing from him since. You know what I mean? And I'm just telling you, Semaj Morgan can be that even just a little bit way faster, but a little bit faster than Jeremy Gallon, but the same quickness and different things like that. So, and you love to see a guy that's smaller catch essentially a fade on a back shoulder. And the comfortability that JJ had to put it there, that means he's made this play over and over and over again in practice. He's seen him make tough catches, and he makes the throw and seamlessly, right? He ain't played a bunch of ball in college yet. He had the little jet sweep the other week or whatever. He ain't did nothing. And so the lights weren't too bright in the first Big Ten matchup. Reach back, catch the ball, touchdown, right? I think that was super, super impressive. And just another weapon, right? He can be a real weapon. His jersey's just so big. I was laughing. I'm like, he's so small, but it's like these guys are much bigger and all these different things. He didn't look small like that in high school. So,
yes, but I think Gallon is a great comparison.
Oh, I know all about Gallon. Gallon's nice. Gallon gonna be open for sure. Gallon gonna be open for sure. And the thing is, he's not limited to the gadget, the dig, the whatever. You can put him in that face scenario. He's gonna shake him up at the line, and he's gonna be able to have that range to either go get it in front or catch the back shoulder, even though he's a smaller target, right? So when you can do that, you can be small. All right, it's almost a weapon against the defense, just because if you can do the fade thing, I mean, that's really what we need for the tall guys, right? We need you to be able to go get the higher balls. And if you can go get the higher balls on digs across the middle, all those different things, then we're good to go.
And so you've been talking past couple of weeks about just, showing JJ as a run threat.
Yeah.
And so another wrinkle, teams have been keying their duo plays real hard. Rutgers didn't do it in the same way as past teams, but Michigan kind of has been adding different stuff every week. They started out the season, kind of with outside zone, trying to emphasize that a little more. Plays that got them on the edge. Now throwing a read on the duo. And you saw JJ pull that a couple times in this game.
Nobody there.
That's a hell of a weapon on that play.
Yeah, and the thing is, you show it against Rutgers, and now teams like, oh, we can't sell out on the duo no more, right? Because if you sell out, he's gonna go get 7. That's the low. He's going to get 7. You know what I mean? And he's gonna be even healthier as a team because he didn't take any real bad shots or anything like that. So you imagine, even though in football season you don't truly get healthier, he's gonna get a little bit more healthy in the coming weeks. And so that's a great wrinkle and a great time to do it. I think that Sherrone Moore's really gotten a handle on this coordinating thing, man. He knows how to give you a little bit here, give you a little bit there, give you something to think about down the road later. And it's proved to be really good for Michigan in past years, obviously, but then now it's just like, man, he is throwing things out there, and teams are going to have to watch it and respect it on film. And now all the things are still open that you want to do.
All right, we need to get to a break here coming up. If you have questions for DG, put them in the comments now.
We'll get 9 of them.
And we'll get as many of your questions in as we can.
At least 9.
On the other side. But as we get to a break, and this is probably not a fair question to get to, but just focus on Big Ten quarterbacking for a minute. I mean, is it JJ, Drew Aller, and then everybody else?
Above ground pool. It's a pool. It's some quarterbacks. It's not that good. It's not that mean. And especially we can't, it's unimpressive. It's not super impressive. And I think Aller has been good. I think JJ's been good. But like you said, it's just like Drew, Aller, and JJ McCarthy, and then them. And the backup in Supremes.
Yeah, I would say Kyle McCord has been based on what Ohio State was saying, what we should have expected. I mean, give him credit for making a big third down throw, but he's
teammates with the best football player in the country, and he didn't win the job until the day before, until a week ago, right?
Right, which is exactly what they said. So he's kind of lived up to expectation. But Noah Kim and Cade McNamara, especially those two.
Well, you thought a lot from.
I'm talking about the expectations that they had that within the program.
Well, that's on them, I think, right? That was ridiculous.
They were saying that Noah Kim was going to be better than Peyton Thorne.
Well, that's goofy. They had to support him with everything, just because Thorne's gone, and it's like, hey, we need him to feel good. So let's say that he's going to be better. Wrong, not going to happen.
And
Peyton Thorne one day.
And they were saying that Cade McNamara was going to be better than Spencer Petras.
And we found. I didn't say
not you. I said they.
I was just saying because I've told you I think it's gonna be the same, and right now it's looking a little worse. So it's tough.
All right, get your questions for DGN. We'll get them on the other side, folks. That was the Driving Force update, brought to you by Golden Limousine International, with Golden at the wheel and Devin on the mic, getting you to your end zone safely, rested and relaxed. It's Golden Limousine's goal, no matter what time of day or night. You can find them at goldenlimo.com. The MMQA with Devin Gardner on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, the ticket. Going through some of these questions and getting them in here on the screen. So I'll go back. Buckeyes need a man with sensitivity. That's right, Kevin DeFore. I'm telling you. Oh boy. See, he has not made a public comment on being born on third base since the words were uttered. Right? And if you get that bent out of shape about Lou Holtz,
the facts
And man, this was the dude that was saying that they were gonna hang 100 on Michigan and all that. Like, stop it, man. All right. Someone wants to, you said this already. What game are you calling on Saturday? Can you?
Oh, I didn't. I am calling UCF Baylor.
Okay.
UCF Baylor.
All right. Going through and getting more. Mike Sainristel. We don't really talk a whole lot of defense, but
that was a nice play.
Yeah, he said, can we spend a minute of the show talking about Mikey Sainristel being a dude?
I mean, I don't think we need to spend that much time. Everybody know you do. You know what I mean? I'm sure Vance goes quite a lot over how good Mikey is being. I mean, how about that switch, right? Going from receiver. He was nice. I loved him at receiver. He was so nice at receiver. And I was not happy about him going to defense, but I'm happy now because he is a dog, pit bull.
We got some people piling on.
Piling on what?
Jeff Rupp.
Please mention the worst captains in history of Michigan football. Oh, looking absolutely pathetic at Happy Valley.
Like, come on, man.
That's crazy.
That's gratuitous.
Yeah, I mean, he did try to take a shot at Michigan, though.
He did.
On the press conference, I'm so glad my team can score points now on defense. I'm just not used to it. I guess, one thing they're not used to? Their quarterback throwing for 40 yards in a game. They're not used to it. I'm sure they're not. Because Petras, Padilla, whichever one, and neither one of them never did that. Not one time, I don't think. Right? I'm not tripping on.
No.
Yeah, they ain't never did that. Because, you're going to get them out on those nakeds, and they're going to hit a couple little flat routes at least, right? They're going to get them to that 40 mark. But, when you're a little immobile, it's hard to get on them nakeds and do the things that you want to do for Iowa. Stuff.
Man, Minnesota losing to Northwestern. Dave said Minnesota fans are calling for the boat to be rowed out of town. I actually think he could be a target for Michigan State.
He's been there for a long time, huh?
He could be a target for Michigan State.
Yeah, because they're probably thinking, oh, okay, Minnesota, it's hard to get kids to go there, and you doing what you can with what you got. And yeah, but I think that's a lateral move. And if I was PJ Fleck, I wouldn't do it.
All right. So the first one, just to get you ready, Marky Mac says, what do you think of these freshman receivers? They look like the deal to me. I guess you can jump into that now. You already talked about Semaj a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we got some talented guys, right? Guys that, and the thing is, they're not super highly ranked, and so nobody knows really whatever. But you get guys with a chip on their shoulder, or guys that got talent, but nobody respects them as one of the top guys. That can brew and kind of build a monster, and a lot, that's what Michigan has done at that receiver position, I think. Except for Donovan Peoples-Jones, he was obviously a top ranked guy, but he's from Michigan. That's why we got him.
Okay. We got a number of good questions coming in for you, DG. This is Vance's favorite segment. Count to 3, play for me. Count to 10, never again. I don't know. I haven't heard him say the count to 10 part, but he did. He would be very, very blunt. Some of y'all can't count to 3. Talking about DBs, you can't play for me. Can't play for me. You can't count to 3. Vance is very, very raw in his analysis. All right. Let's see. Get some more in.
Yeah, Clemens is still fighting injury a little bit. That question is he fighting injury or did they pass him up? I think he's fighting injury, and you know, when you fight injury, that's how you can get passed up. You know what I mean? So you gotta get healthy. You gotta get healthy because he's a good, talented player. I like him, big, strong. You know, can run. You just gotta get healthy.
Ready? All right. Okay.
Monday morning quarterback Devin Gardner, brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA. The Ticket. Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, where it's fairways, not freeways. Book your vacation at grandtraverseresort.com.
Man, you hired. You hired, man.
I got a new job.
You are hired. All right. So MMQA, this is where we try to get as many of your questions for our Monday morning quarterback, Devin Gardner, in as possible. By the way, if you want more DG, not only do you get DG on the film studies, which we're going to get to after the show, we put them up on Wednesdays. We have a special new show, Steady Dropping Dimes, that I do with my man DG, who was basically a field general, and Daniel Horton, former Michigan point guard, who was a floor general, which is why the Steady Dropping Dimes whole thing kind of fits together.
Okay, quit patting yourself on the back.
I got to get credit. I got to give it to my wife. Exactly. I got to give it to my wife. She came up with the name. So, but anyway, we run the gamut in topics. We talk about all sports. We spent a lot of time last week talking about Justin Fields. I think we were right. I think we were right about Justin Fields. So, not looking too good over there.
It got ugly. It
got real ugly. And then right after you kind of call out your coach and then walk it back.
That's tough.
Not looking that good, man. So that is Wednesdays, by the way, from 3 until 4. Lock us in over on YouTube, Facebook. That's how we do that show. All right, let's start getting to the questions. DG, you already touched on this. I think this is a fairly simple one, but we'll get to it anyway. Quaney Shumpert says, best two QBs in the Big Ten are?
That's my girl. Quaney Shumpert talk about psych. Don't talk about me. I saw you talk about me in the last segment. We talk about my gas. Mm-hmm. But we know who the top two guys is. It's JJ McCarthy, then it's Drew Aller, and then I think it's everybody else. I mean, I guess you could throw McCord in there. He's got the best wins, I think, of right, not wins, but win against Notre Dame technically. So I think you could throw him at the top of the everybody else crew.
There's what Quaney had to say.
Right on the screen right now. Stop putting stuff up again. You hear me?
All right. Shadyville. What 03 wants to know. He said, it still looks like Ohio State's defense is vulnerable to the power run game. At one point in the second half, Notre Dame was pushing them around. DJ.
Yeah, I mean, that's a statement. I don't care. Yeah.
Do you agree?
Don't let Ryan Day confuse you because he's acting crazy. They still have issues in that department. That's like not the thing is like they can overcome it because they can be dynamic on offense. Now they got to get their offense back to that dynamic, position that they were in all those years. But that's something they've overcome all this time. Like, you know what I mean? They've always had that, but they've always been so dynamic on offense and put so much pressure on the other offense to make plays, and then you start making mistakes and different things like that. And you can't really lean on that run game, right? Because you like, man, if it don't work a couple times, we can't do it because they're gonna score offense. We gotta get some plays. Well, what Michigan did in that first time they beat them for the Big Ten championship in 21. They didn't go away from it. They're like, no, we're going to run this ball down your throat and you're going to stop us. We're not going to go away if it don't work once or twice, So I think that teams are going to figure that out, but especially just because their offense isn't as dynamic. So they're not as scared, right? It's like, okay, we can punt a few times and they're not going to always score every single time. And I really hope Marvin Harrison Jr. healthy. Is he fine?
Yeah. Football game. He came back in the game and he played. Yeah, he played the rest of the game.
I hope it don't linger because he's too dynamic, too amazing. You want him to be at his best because it's fun to watch, first of all, in college football. And then secondly, you want to make sure that they can't go out, oh, well, we didn't have the best player in the country. Nah, yes, you did. And then you lost again.
All right. Let's go back to the questions, DG. So this is a pretty frequent question in the stream. And so I'll put one up and this will handle it for everyone. Adam Boone asks, is there concern about Donovan regressing or does it just take him longer to get used to his O-line? What do you think about Donovan so far?
Well, I think that I kind of said this, right? He got to share, right? So you're just not going to get as many opportunities. And I guess when you don't get as many opportunities, it can look like, oh, well, he didn't do good on that one. But I just think that Blake Corum coming back, right? You're not going to get the ball 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a row and be able to feel through and get a groove in that way. But his versatility, I think, is something that it's not going to regress, right? He's just very good at doing other things. You know what I mean? And so I think the ability to come out early is kind of being stifled a little bit. I don't think he's going to be able to leave after this year. He's going to have to stick around, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing to stick around and really solidify yourself as the guy. But I wouldn't say that he's regressed in a way.
Yeah, I think he's still getting his feel.
Yeah, of course.
From a running perspective, you can just kind of see.
Yeah, remember he's a young guy. Right, he don't have a whole bunch of reps as a runner at this level, right? He played a lot last year, but you can really count that as just 1 year because the year before he just was spot duty kind of whatever. Like he hasn't been the bell cow at this level, right? And so he's still figuring out. And we put so much pressure on these players, and sometimes like he put a little bit of pressure on himself, saying he's going to come out this year, stuff like that, right? And so you put so much pressure on these players to be really, really good because you got to think about it. Usually he will be a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore in regular college football because he was redshirt his first year, right? You don't play much. That next year you get a chance to play a little more as a redshirt freshman, but we treat a redshirt sophomore like a sophomore. We don't treat him like a junior, right? But because he has that junior next to his name and the pressure he's kind of put on himself to say, hey, I'm going pro after this year, it's like we want to see a pro now. You know what I mean? And so, but he's young and he's still growing. He's still learning how to be a runner, and he's got a great group to help him, right? You got Freddie J, you got Mike Hart, and you got Blake Corum, who's an outstanding runner. His vision is second to none.
All right, we just got one here toward the end that I think is a really good one. This one from Shadyville says, what are some things you would like to see JJ improve upon after this bounce back performance, meaning versus Rutgers?
I don't know what you. I mean, his intermediate passing is good. He's throwing the ball downfield well. He's checking the ball down well. It looks like he's seeing the game really well. Obviously, when you grab not Notre Dame, but the Bowling Green game, it's like, oh man, he got so much to work on. But if you take that game out and look at all the rest of the games, it's like, I mean, he's doing everything that you want him to do, right? And so I'm gonna stand on this table and say again that Bowling Green game was an anomaly, and what we saw on Saturday, and obviously the other Saturdays excluding that one, is who he is, and he had a bad game.
All right, Sheldon has a question for you. Says, DG, what did you eat to funk up the car like that?
What's his he on Facebook? I'm gonna look him up and block him. So no, I wouldn't block you for that. But stop attacking me, man. You know, sometimes that's all right.
It was all good. It's just two
Yeah,
guys.
if men don't got a problem, none of y'all better not have a problem.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Hey, but I'm just telling you, I want to tell you, I felt terrible. And I'm just like, I can't you know how you do the little silent but deadly, and it's a number of people there, so you can, I love that opportunity. It's like you can't prove it was me, and so whether you think it's me or not, you can't prove it. It's just me and men, so I'm like, oh my goodness, it's definitely me.
So it's all good because at the time, we were driving through the farm country. I'm like, damn, man, they got the manures are really good. The cow pies are really fragrant right now. Damn,
I ain't know.
And I'm like, wait, we passed that now.
My man compared you to fertilizer.
He was, hey, look at on the stream. Look at me. I could see men's eyes. He was like this.
Yep, side eye.
He like,
side
you really
eye.
just gonna keep doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. It's something.
I just went, open the window a little bit.
Crack in the window.
We love you, DG. You know that.
Man, shut up.
All right.
You don't love nothing.
Monday Morning Quarterback is brought to you by our friends at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Without them, this would not be possible. Want to let you know we're going to be up at GTR for the Minnesota game. So if you're in the area, you want to have a special excursion, head on up. We're going to have a great time. Hope to see you up there next week. Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Autumn in Michigan is a great time to explore northern Michigan, vibrant colors and crisp fall breezes. You won't believe it if you haven't seen it. Get up and go to Grand Traverse Resort at grandtraverseresort.com. That's going to do it for us here today. Be sure to check us out tomorrow here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket, the official voice of University of Michigan Sports, Ann Arbor, a Cumulus station. Overtime on the stream.
Yeah.
Get some of these
Get a couple
questions
of these questions in. Get y'all, because really we just trying to make up for that first week. We ain't get no questions in. Let's get them right now. Get a couple more extra questions.
So here's one from Coda.
And none about my guts.
Hey, okay, I won't. Coda 8 wants to know, do you think with Coach Moore being the OC, he's now spread thin and the offensive line is suffering without his full attention, which I think they have.
They won the Joe Moore Award last year. Next question. Come on, Sam. We doing overtime for good questions.
Okay, I mean, I thought.
What are you talking about? He was the OC last year, was he not?
He's not the only person who asked that question. So
and they all goofy.
All right, so here's another one. DG, where's your boy Jeremy Gallon at these days?
I don't know. Jeremy actually just got married. We was in a group. There's in a group chat talking about how Jeremy got married. I think he living in Florida though. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to some more questions. Moving down. Okay. Here you go. From Rick Punches. Devin, when do you think we're going to light up the scoreboard? He said we have I don't know what it's got blurred out a little bit.
It's like whatever the object is or something like you.
Well, the thing is I don't want fans to look around college like, oh my God, this team's scoring this much. This team's scoring this much. Remember, Michigan don't score a whole that's not who Michigan is, right? How many times are we scoring 50? You know what I mean? We're a team that beats people down, and then you get your young guys in and get a chance to play. Could Michigan score 50 on all these opponents? Absolutely. We know they can, all right? But that's just not who they are. I kind of pointed to, and I'm not saying Michigan's the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs is so amazing and so dominant, but the Chiefs not blowing people out, right? I mean, they played the Bears the other day, so that's a little different. But they're not really blowing people out, right? They just do the things they need to do and win the game. So I don't think there's going to be an explosion on offense unless you absolutely need it. Now, if the defense is struggling, whatever, you will see that, right? You'll see the opportunities that the offense will get, and I think that they're equipped to have that offensive explosion, but I don't think you're going to see it in just for no reason.
All right, here's another one. Someone's paying attention. All right. Elementary concept to run, and what gave him troubles? Well, you already talked about your favorite elementary concept, but for people who haven't heard, what was your favorite play that you could throw with your eyes closed?
So I wouldn't say that it was super elementary. My favorite play to run was H2 slow X glance, right? Where you come out of play action, stick your foot in the ground, throw the ball on like a quicker skinny post, bang 8. But like my favorite, like in elementary, like concept is like the high-low of dig and like a hitch swirl underneath, right? Where you go hitch swirl, you grab the attention of the linebacker, and then you burst out on the out path, and then the dig comes behind it. I absolutely love throwing those. Those were my bread and butter in that drop back pass game. The thing that would give me trouble was cover 3 would a lot, just because you just don't know where the linebacker's going to go. And I didn't love throwing a flat route, right? Even though you got to sometimes, but the dig was just open so much. And I loved it versus cover 4 just because even though those safeties are driving down hard, me and Jeremy Gallen had a real rapport where he'll turn that into a curl, and I would already know, right? Just based off the coverage, I would know, okay, he's going to turn that into a curl and do a thing that we call reduce or come negative to the ball. And so I like that because on film, now they think we run curls. Right. Mm-hmm. And so now you get them, if they're studying film, they're like, oh man, we can get them on these curls on this one when actually we're running digs. And so when they come and trying to stop curls, he can get back to the dig. And so it's just so much options you can do when you know a guy on those dig routes.
All right. Few more that we'll get in here. I'll skip that one.
What is it? What is it?
Zach wants to know Tums or Pepto. I said I was gonna skip it. You asked me.
You were the one that asked for it.
You know what? I'm gonna have to develop a YouTube so I can block people on that too. Because see me on YouTube. It's YouTube.
Theus, what? Come on, Theus. Come on.
Okay.
Children watch this stream.
It wasn't my breath.
That's true.
Theus.
That's true,
Yeah.
Theus. All right. This is a good one. So, DG, the backup quarterback situation.
I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be what's the Indiana kid name?
Tuttle, Jack.
Tuttle.
Jack Tuttle. Okay.
I think it'll be Jack Tuttle, and I think that he's had some experience. Obviously, you wouldn't want him as your starter, but a guy that's backing up, I don't see why he couldn't handle and do the things we want him to do. Now, are our Big Ten championship prayers and playoff stuff still intact with the backup quarterbacks that we have on the roster? I have to say no. I don't think it will be. Now, is that saying that it can't happen? No, because I think that of the pieces around are very good, and if you could just be serviceable, we saw Cade take the team to a championship, right? Mm-hmm. So I think you can still do that, but things have to bounce your way. It has to be kind of a perfect storm, I think.
All right. Mark Mikowski wants to know what's different about Wilson in the slot. Something like 5 TDs on 10 plays. Why play anywhere else?
Because if you line them up in the same spot, those stats go away, right? You want to give him the opportunity. But remember, a couple years ago, or maybe it was last year, when I kind of talked about him as that guy that with the speed that can take the top off the defense, and he runs a lot of routes that he's not actually supposed to get the ball, but he can still get it because of his speed, and he'll open up a lot for other guys. I think that he's put his time in, right? He's put his time in to open up for other guys, and now he gets to be the guy, right? He's catching a lot of balls and doing an outstanding job, running out to catch, all those different things. And he's living in heaven right now. You get the number 1 jersey, and then you have 5 touchdowns in 4 games or 3 games or whatever? Uh-huh. I mean, that's what you expect, right? Because I remember when we gave, the number 1 jersey out when I was here, we didn't get that kind of protection. You know what I mean? So you get a number 1 jersey out, you should get that kind of production, and he's doing exactly what he should.
Right.
They obviously knew something, because you're not just giving it out to any old body,
Right. All right. So I think we got some repetitive. So Kwame DG talked about Semaj earlier in the stream. So go check that out once this stream is over. He went pretty in depth on young Semaj, who he told me after the first game, he said, I'm about to get one. It might have been the second game, because I don't know how much he played after week 1, but he said after week 2, he said, I'm about to get one. A game later, he went out there and got one.
He got one. I mean, the thing is like, he's a dynamic player, right? He's really good at football. And I remember him as a freshman at I remember as a real young guy. I think he's a freshman or sophomore at West Bloomfield. And I'm seeing they got a quarterback who can't throw a rock in the ocean, right? But I'm watching him in a game I'm calling of him, and I'm like, oh man, he nice. Like, he's getting in position. Like, if they had a guy that could was okay, that he would be able to go off here. And then he starts to get opportunities, and then he bursts on the scene. He goes to some camps and all those different things, and he really becomes a dude. I think that he's the kind of guy, it's only a matter of time. You just got to give him reps, and he can get comfortable. But he made that play on Saturday without a whole bunch of reps. So, he's like I said during Monday Morning Quarterback, he's a tough catch maker. And so it doesn't have to be a perfect throw for him to make the play, even though that back shoulder was really nice.
So I know last year one of your major critiques is red zone offense as it relates to the passing game specifically. I'm curious what you think this year, and it's based on this question from Caden Hepler, who asked a very specific question about red zone passing offense. He says, will we ever see some type of play action near the goal line? Michigan's too predictable when they get inside the 5-yard line.
Well, I think they're predictable when they get inside the 5-yard line because they've just been able to bully guys in the run game for the most part. I think that we had that TCU game, and it's kind of skewed our view of what we're able to do down tight, right? That game, I don't know what we were doing. We're like doing all this crazy stuff, like reverses, whatever. But when they're just in their normal offense, they're just fine inside the 5. And I think you do have the opportunity to do some of that play action stuff and whatever. And it's really just thrown in there, get JJ on the edge. He'll make a play. And then it's like, okay, now defenses have to worry about it. But I don't think it's something that's like a huge necessity at this time, at this juncture in the season. Yeah, but I'm sure they have it, right? You don't not have play action on the goal line. Like, they definitely have it, but they just haven't run it.
Curious your take on this one from Wyatt. And we'll only take a couple more folks as we got to get it, keep it moving.
We got work to do our unpaid film study.
Right. You called Maryland game a couple weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. Wyatt wants to know, what are your thoughts on Maryland? Obviously, Michigan sees them later in the year.
Oh, I think they're good. And I've watched a bunch of them and so one thing I want to say, they started 14-0 against Charlotte, down 14 against Charlotte. And, they ended up coming back, destroying them. They started down 14 against Virginia as well. And ended up coming back, destroying them. And so my whole thing, and I called the Virginia game. And so my whole thing was, this is outstanding performance, right? Talia talking about Lord, Josh Gaddis is really helping him. He threw 2 picks against Charlotte, but they were picks that it was more of because they're playing Charlotte. He's kind of loose, just kind of chilling more than that. And then against Virginia, he didn't put the ball in harm's way much. He's a good quarterback. His ability to move inside and outside of the pocket, right, and move to throw is really, really good. And I think they got some real athletes. I think that what people thought of Rutgers maybe is what Maryland actually is. Like, they're a good team. Like, they'll give you some trouble in a lot of different areas. Their defensive line goes 3 deep, right? I'm talking 3 dudes, like dudes that can really play. And it's just like, dude, you don't get tired. You know what I mean? You got these big dudes, and it's like, that's tough. And that Bo Braid didn't play. They're really good safety didn't play in the game that I had, but I think he'll be back. And I think they're a real force to be reckoned with. I don't think they're going to win the Big Ten or anything like that, but I think they're a real team. I don't think they're. Yeah.
It feels like, if they had,
and then they blasted Michigan State. Because the thing I was saying is, like, you can't start down 14 against any Big Ten team. You can't do that and expect to come back. They did not start down 14 this time. They said, no, we're going to get it popping off the rip.
Yeah, as well you should against that squad. Don't let them get any life. But, they had the receivers last year and they had the DBs last year.
Yeah.
Their DBs were legit. And I remember us talking about that game. People were like, I think it was like JJ's second start. Right. And so he was running around a little bit, but he was playing against some pros at DB. He was
playing against some pros. I said that. Because I had them earlier before. I had them against SMU last year, and I'm like, man, that safety. I think it might have been Bo.
They had 2 corners who were 4-3 guys.
Yeah, they had some real players.
In the second round.
Yeah, they had some real players. So, and the thing that their DBs do this year so good, and I can't remember if it was last year, but this year so good, man. When you try to throw them bubble screens and quick screens, they look like defensive linemen getting off them blocks, man. I'm like, dang. So I'm talking to coach, like, yeah, we do it. We do it every, I think, Wednesday, where defensive linemen go to like the DB type drills, and then offensive line, or DBs go to where the defensive line learn how to get off blocks and all that. And they are violent to that ball. Now it can be used against them and like fake screen down the field stuff or whatever. But when you throw in those bubble screens, you got to have your antennas up, and the receivers got to be violent because they are coming.
Right. Larry and Lisa Lear, I saw you ask this question earlier, so I want to make sure we touch on it. I think you're talking about the blitz in the Bowling Green game that Jake was talking about on the broadcast. What we thought and I haven't asked about. Forgive me for not asking them about exactly what happened, but in breaking that down with Borges, what we thought happened was simply he didn't get the check. We thought he didn't get the check. I mean, that's how he reacted on the play, was he didn't have the check on the play. So,
this past
no, the sack against Bowling Green
where the guy ran up the middle.
Where the guy just ran up the middle.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know.
So I don't.
It's like you know, I just want people to caution everybody. People make mistakes sometimes.
Right,
like you just don't, like you just don't see them, or you just didn't get it, or you just like sometimes you just make a mistake. You know what I mean? Now, if it's a thing that happens over and over and over again, that's when you're like, man, how does he continue to miss this? But it's like you miss one blitz, and it's like, one time.
It was like because it was highlighted at that point that it is referred to as a problem. And I haven't sensed that it is being regarded as a problem for him. I guess we'll watch it closely, and
we'll definitely watch it. But I just don't think that's a thing, because we don't see a bunch of. Now, the one thing's that's for certain. No, heck, because definitely he makes very good blocks. He does a very good job in the pass protection. Both those running backs do. And when you got Freddie J helping out, you're going to be good at pass protection. I'm just telling you. And not to mention, Mike Hart was one of the best pass protectors. When he was in the league, it's like, all right, let's get him in to make sure you get pass protect type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's Peyton Manning saying
Peyton like, no, we need him because he knows. So the thing is that won't be a thing. Obviously Donovan's a smart guy. He just made a mistake. And I would lean with Borges, even though it's a very uncomfortable place to be. He maybe just didn't get the call, you know what I mean? So
as opposed to not knowing what he's doing.
Yeah, come on.
That looked like he just didn't get the check. And not to say that is okay, but it's better than he don't know what the hell he's doing, which is what 100%. Seems like some people were thinking.
But even if he did get the check and he does know what he's doing and he made a mistake, he just made a mistake. Like what? It's like we're acting like they're. But like I said during the show, he's put a little bit of this pressure on himself to be perfect, because when you come out and say I'm coming out, I plan to be a pro, which you should have that confidence and all that. He didn't foresee that Blake would be coming back because he had to share a lot. But when you say that, it puts so much pressure on you to look like a pro. Right, because we don't see a whole bunch of running backs coming out saying that. It's usually people outside is saying like, oh yeah, obviously, like the dude in Texas that's at Atlanta. He never was saying like, oh, I'm coming out. They actually take it down to the wire usually, like, oh, I don't know, I love my city, I love the team. Oh, obviously they know they're coming out, but for him to stand up a year in advance and say, hey, I'm coming out next year, whatever. People are expecting a pro, and pros don't miss assignments in college. Pros don't miss reads in running game or whatever. You know what I mean? Which that's not true, but that's what people are thinking. So it's tough.
Pros at running back these days, at least the highly picked ones, can catch the football. And so they started out this game against Maryland and said, we're gonna throw you the rock. Because he did well in the past game against them last year. We actually broke down a couple of the plays. So that wasn't that surprising to me. You could see different things. The last week it was they got him a couple of runs in a row. They got him like 4 runs in a row at one point. This past week felt like they were emphasizing him as a receiver a little more, even if JJ didn't always go to him. You could see that he was involved in the passing game. He was one of the options. So things are being built upon, and they actually have the luxury of continuing to kind of, try things out, add a thing here, add a thing there, based on what the schedule looks like. Because it's just not what I thought it was going to be, man. Minnesota's not what I thought they were going to be. Michigan State's not what I thought they were going to be. The entire West is not what I thought they were going to be.
What do you think Iowa's going to be?
I thought they were going to be better than last year.
Yeah,
I did.
Good for you.
I was wrong.
You didn't talk to me about
it. I thought they were going. I thought they would at least get. I thought they would get more competency at the quarterback position. And to be fair to both quarterbacks, that's not all on them. I mean, Brian Ferentz is not very good. He's just not very good.
It's kind of hard to be good when you don't got a quarterback.
I mean,
you remember we talked about it, and I've been critical even of myself in that, right? Like, it's hard for a coordinator to be good when a quarterback can't give you many options to be good. You know what I mean? So it's tough. Now, I'm not like defending Ferentz and saying he's good. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that. I do know he wants to play Iowa football the way Iowa's always played football. But the thing is, their running game and offensive line they're not nearly as dominant as they used to be, so it makes it a little tougher.
So you got to be more quarterback dependent.
You got to be more quarterback dependent. And if you have when's the last time they looked out and said, let's get a top quarterback? It's not what they do, right? So they don't know how to kind of function right now, and I think it's unfair to just put it all on him. It's unfair to just put it all on the quarterback. I think who Iowa is inherently is a team that doesn't desire a really good quarterback. They don't desire it.
That's crazy.
Like, think about it. We can't think of guys of like, oh man, remember that quarterback at Iowa? Like,
you know what it is they desire who they can get.
That's also true. But the thing is, if you start to play in a way, because Maryland gets good quarterback.
So you can, right? I mean,
Rutgers got Wimsatt. If Wimsatt played for Iowa, you think they'd be, you know what I mean? Think about if Wimsatt, a guy that can run, throw, right, and is competent, plays for Iowa. Iowa's a much better football team, in my opinion, because he can do some things. You can have some things done, so they can get the guy because they've won. They've been to Big Ten championships. Yeah. They've won. They've been much more successful in the Big Ten than a Rutgers and a Maryland, things like that. Even like a Nebraska getting some, you know.
You said they don't desire a good.
I mean, that ain't, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Just like Nick Saban for years. You don't desire a top quarterback. What do I want to deal with that for? When I'm just running it down people's throats, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. They would love to have a really good quarterback.
Hey,
that was a crazy statement.
I just don't desire Beyonce. I don't desire.
I just don't desire. You know what I mean? I don't desire to eat today. You know what I mean? I'm just.
But you know you can't get Beyonce, so you better just kind of set your sights a little. I said lower.
They just don't desire a good quarterback. What are you talking about? Of course they do. But, you know, in all seriousness, that's always how they've been, right? So they haven't needed to, you know,
All right, folks. So we gave you a lot of overtime this week. Make sure we got a lot of the questions in. Can't say we do this every week, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hey, by the way, steady dropping dimes. So we had to go over all of the topics, but we got a lot that we can cover this week. So there's Justin Fields calling out his coach, and then going out.
Do that again?
Going out, but he hadn't called out his.
I know.
Oh yeah, he had he had the retraction.
Yep.
Then they were hugging in practice the next day, and then you go out and that happens. So there's that.
That's tough.
There's Josh McDaniels and Marcus Freeman. All right. Hey man. Hey man. Hey Miz.
Cut the clip. Cut the clip. What just happened?
Hey, man. See, I wasn't going to put any of these in here. I wasn't going to bring any of them up. Here we go again. What's another one? We got this one. The man, Gas X. Can somebody help the brother out? Can somebody, I mean, what do they have for what are some medications for flatulence? Can you guys throw that in the stream here? Help my brother out. I'm just saying. I'm trying to give a promo and a plug for Steady Dropping Dimes coming up in a couple of days. Wednesday from 3 to 4. So we got Marcus Freeman having 10 players on the field the last two plays of the game.
That's wild.
And his rationale after the game. And it's like, come on. I mean, where's your PR person, your media relations person to come in and kind of prepare you?
Somebody throw in the towel.
He said, well, we couldn't get a penalty in that situation. The ball is on the 1 yard line. Would you rather them have it on the half-yard line against 11 players or on the 1 yard line versus 10? This seems like an easy decision, DG. Seems like an easy decision. So he said that. To make matters worse for some coaches, the next day, Josh McDaniels, they're in the game. This is last night. They're in the game. They're down at the end of the game, folks, by 8 points. I got to make sure I get this quote from him. They're down by 8 points with 2:22 to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right? He kicks a field goal. He kicks a field goal down 8 points with 2:22 to go. And after the game, they asked him about the decision. And he said, and I quote, as I pull it up, he said, "You're going to need another possession anyway."
That's crazy.
You're down 8 with 2:22 to go, and you kick a field goal because you're going to need another possession anyway.
Save some of this for Wednesday. I'm telling you. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild.
Like,
it's wild.
Sheldon, I don't know what happened. I just know the webcam.
The mic didn't pick it up?
No, the mic picked it up.
No, my webcam is off.
The webcam just kind of picked it up.
Device is not connected. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, not.
Well, anyway,
I don't know.
That's just a sign that we'll be back. We'll be back.
See? EOS webcam utilities. You see, that means we've been here too long.
Smoked it out. That's what happened.
That's just the
He knocked the camera out. He knocked the camera out.
Sam, shut up. Just shut up.
All right, folks.
Devin, you need to give me a list of songs you want. I'm gonna make a cart for when you're coming on Monday.
I don't need to do that. You just do whatever you do.
Oh, yes,
you get just fine.
I can't just put the same 3 songs in
I
rotation.
don't see why not.
Fine, I'll find a whole bunch of fire. Okay, I'll get some gas.
Ooh, I got some gas.
It was unintentional. I'm sorry. I am sorry. That was unintentional.
All right, folks. Yeah, I think you're right. Cameras don't like methane.
I'm so sick of people attacking me. All right, now, Alejandro C. de Baca. All right, Alejandro C. de Baca.
All right, folks, we love y'all. As someone said, this is their favorite hour of the week. Obviously, you're talking about during the week. They love Michigan football more. I get it. But love this segment. Sheldon said, I love this segment. Thank you to Devin. So I want to show some love to DG. This one is love the show. Thanks to the MMQB team. I mean, there are so many messages like that throughout the deal. So it's not all the taking shots. Not all that. They show love to DG.
Shut up.
All right, we got to get
It's you taking the shots.
I'm not taking shots. You just took a shot at me. Literally. All right, folks. We are out of here. We got to get over to the film study. Thanks again. We'll see you next time here on the Monday Morning Quarterback, brought to you by our friends at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa.